Welcome back to another edition of Say What Needs to Be Said. I'm your host, Asante Mr. Pick Six Samuel. Friday Night Vibes, baby. First 3 rounds of the draft has finished. And man, it is very interesting. It's getting very interesting. What's up, chat, man? Y'all come on in. Y'all come celebrate. Have a good time with us, man. I hope your team got some quality draft picks you excited about. But we got a lot of things to talk about tonight, man. We got to talk about Shedeur Sanders, what's going on with that, right? We got to talk about Travis Hunter. We're going to talk about Shannon Sharpe and some more things, man. We're going to have some fun tonight. We vibing out tonight. Man, shout out to the super chat last night in the chat. We were vibing last night, boy. We was on one all night, man. Shout out to the chat. What they do. What they do, man. How y'all feeling about that drive, man? Y'all let me know y'all thoughts and let me know if y'all have any conspiracy theories or anything going on. What y'all think, man? And let me know how y'all feel out there, man. Shout out to the chat. Chat was turned up last night. If y'all wasn't there, we was vibing out the whole first round last night. So it was a 4-hour marathon, man. We had a good time, man. Had a great time. We had a great time. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shanton. Am I saying that right? Goodman. Lockjaw. What it do? What it do? 23 Dreesy. What it do, baby? Yeah, man, we in the building, man. Y'all come on in. Let's have a good time. We vibing out tonight, man. Dreesy about to be the co-host. Y'all watch out for Dreesy, man. Yeah, man, this is very interesting, man. I know it's getting crazy out there. I know it's getting a little wicked in them NFL streets. Let's get into it. Man, what do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about this situation going on right here, man? Let me know in the chat. It's wild. This is a wild one right here. This is a wild one. The young man, Shedeur Sanders, man, he's getting the bad end of the stick. I know that young man, Shedeur, is going through it right now. I know he's absolutely going through it. I was in that position, man. I was in that exact same predicament almost, man. I thought I was to be a first rounder. Let me tell it to the New England Patriots. And then the Atlanta Falcons didn't have a first-round pick, and they told me I was going to be a second-round pick. Boom, all these rounds just passed. Like I said yesterday, man, I was on the floor stressed out. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't do anything. I just wanted my dreams to come true, man. But, hey, let me tell you, man, you got to understand the power of marketing. The power of marketing can make some things appear better than they actually are and give that false sense of reality. You know what I mean? That's the power of marketing. And I think I may or may not have fell into that notion watching Colorado football play every week last season. I was a fan. I still am a fan. We all was a fan of Colorado, Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, and all that, man. You know what I mean? But what's going on tonight, man, is wicked, you know? But the NFL football is different. NFL football is a different level of football. And just because a college prospect in college may have some success on a college level doesn't necessarily mean it will translate into the NFL, right? College football doesn't even present the same challenges the NFL will bring. They play the same minutes in every quarter, 15 minutes, but in the NFL, you got preseason, you got 17 games to play. It's much more demanding. The NFL is a different level, right? Right? But if you're just looking at it from a college standpoint and what these players did in college, we are all in love with everything Colorado did, right? And Coach Prime and Shedeur Sanders. But the scouts, you know, the scouts is the most important part to this equation. The scouts, we don't see the scouts talking in the media, talking about who's the best and making mock drafts and things like that. The scouts must see something we don't see. I'm watching every game. I think I would consider myself an expert, but I don't know. They must see something we don't see. We all think he's a first rounder, and we seen that he's a winner, and we know he's a winner. We know Shedeur Sanders is a winner. We believe he's a first rounder. He should have been a first rounder, if not the first pick, right? Don't we all believe that? Don't we believe that, right? Chat, talk to me. But Dilly and Gabriel, You telling me Dillon Gabriel is a better prospect than Shedeur Sanders? Now every team needs every team may feel a player may fit differently into their system and fit better, you know, just because they might appear as a better prospect. But you still trying to tell me Dillon Gabriel is a better prospect than Shedeur Sanders? Something has to be going on here. Something is going on. And I know Coach Prime wants to go off. He want to scream, yell, fuss, fight. He want to go crazy. I know he want to go crazy. But it is imperative he keep his composure at this time, man. It's very important time for his son, man, his dear son. This is very important time for the Shedeur Sanders family. And Coach Prime has to handle this correctly, man. He has to handle this correctly. And Coach Prime shows that he's a good leader and he could lead his family and show him how, show him the love he needs. But I remember being in the draft, right? And we're gonna get into some interesting things, right? Y'all ride out with me, man. Y'all let me know how I'm doing, chat. How y'all doing out there? I remember being in the draft and training for the combine. Some of the players I was training with, they gave that attitude as if they were a big-time prospect, about to be drafted in the first 2 rounds of the draft. Most of them act like they were all first rounders. And it was one athlete I remember. He played linebacker. And he was a linebacker, and he came out of TCU, Texas Christian University. And he just knew he was the shit. He knew he was the shit. Man, when I tell you, when them scouts mailed out those invitations for the NFL combine and homeboy didn't get no invitation, man, I remember being on the plane. He was so stressed out and going through it. But homeboy ran a 4.7, coming out of, at his pro day, prior to coming out his senior year, and speed is what they want. But in his mind, he thought he was a big-time athlete, a first-round type athlete. And that was a very humbling experience for him, And a lot of us get humbling experiences in this NFL draft, during this NFL draft. It will humble you quickly, right? And I think homeboy, he had them borrowed about $175,000 pre-draft. We get loans before we enter the draft or get our first check because we got things to do. We want to buy cars and houses, clothes, jewelry, so on and so forth. Now things may be a little different because you have the NIL deals and they're already getting paid. But hey, man, some players like to borrow money. And we seen tonight and yesterday, the draft can get really tricky sometimes, man. This draft can get really tricky, bro. This draft is really tricky. And we were all hoping Shedeur Sanders would be a first-round draft pick. You know what I mean? But Emmanuel Acho, he brought a good point. He brought all this thing to a head on. Emmanuel Acho, he said on their show in a tweet he posted on X, and it described exactly what the environment is like surrounding Shedeur Sanders, right? Let me make sure y'all heard me correctly, right? I like, and I usually don't like what Emmanuel Acho has to say, but I like what Emmanuel Acho said on their show. And then he tweeted it on X, and described what the environment is like surrounding Shedeur Sanders and this draft, plus the media coverage. He did a really good job, and we're going to get into it. Let's get into it.
Shedeur get drafted in the first round. I got 3 reasons for y'all. I spent a lot of time last night really mulling over this decision.
Let's start this over.
Didn't Shedeur get drafted in the first round? I got 3 reasons for y'all. I spent a lot of time. I was up to 1 a.m.
Now, hold on. He came out with this yesterday after he wasn't a first-round draft pick. Now, today he wasn't a second or a third-round pick. So there's a lot more to elaborate on. But listen to him closely. He really hit it on the head, man. He really broke this down really good. I kind of agree. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the chat about this, about what he's saying, what Emmanuel Acho is saying.
Last night really mulling over this decision. Why didn't Shedeur get drafted in the first round? Number 1, he didn't code switch. What do I mean he didn't code switch? Shedeur Sanders did not change his identity or how he comes off for the sake of the decision maker. The problem is he didn't make himself more palatable to decision makers. He just didn't do it. And in job interviews, whether it's the National Football League or any job interview, oftentimes it behooves you to make yourself more palatable to decision makers. Shedeur Sanders did not do that. That's reason number one. The second reason, his confidence, I believe, it exceeded his perceived ability. That's just real. Y'all ain't gonna like everything I'm saying. It's just real. What do I mean by that? Shedeur Sanders.
I mean, he hitting on some key points right here, man. He hitting on some key points. I can't lie. He hitting on some key points. Is Shedeur Sanders as good as he really think he is? Is Shedeur Sanders as good as we think he is? Like I said, we watched him every week ball out. He was a flat-out baller, winning games, changing the game. I mean, you name it, right? But like I said, that's us from the outside looking in, looking as fans, right? But the scouts have to evaluate this process. Let's get back into it.
He didn't work out at the Senior Bowl. He didn't work out at the NFL Combine because
Let's rewind that.
Y'all ain't gonna like everything I'm saying. It's just real. What do I mean by that? Shedeur Sanders, he didn't work out at the Senior Bowl. He didn't work out at the NFL Combine because he perceived that he didn't have to do that. Well, who else hasn't done that? Cam Ward, but he got drafted in the first round. Jaden Daniels last year, Caleb Williams last year, and Drake May last year, but they all got drafted in the first round. So Shedeur Sanders' confidence level, it exceeded his perceived ability. What other people thought of him was not the same of what he thought of himself. And lastly, people question his NFL ceiling. Let's just be honest. That's what it comes down to. What I love about this show, and I don't know why.
All right. That's what Emmanuel Ocho had to say, man. And like I said, I think, he hit on some key points, and I think he was kind of spot on, right? And I think, like I said, he was spot on. But think about some of the statements he made. Think about the statement he said when he said Shedeur Sanders opted not to play in the Senior Bowl. Shedeur Sanders opted not to play in the Senior Bowl. He opted not to work out at the Combine. Everything we do from our junior, senior year, from after college, during college, and after college is a job interview for the NFL. Everything we do, they are watching everything because they're ready to stroke a check for millions of dollars, right? And for him not to work out at the Senior Bowl, I mean, the practice and play at the Senior Bowl or work out at the Combine, that's a slap in the face to scouts and general managers who don't have them high on their board and have a high grade on them, on Shedeur Sanders. They need to evaluate him. He can raise his stock at the Senior Bowl and at the Combine. Who is advising Shedeur Sanders? You know what I mean? Of course, Shedeur Sanders is a product of his dad. We all are. All us kids are a product of our parents, But Shedeur Sanders is a product of Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, with his flashy ways, cocky confidence, and all that, right? But he still shows up and he's the baller. He's still a baller. But if you look at it both ways, he's cocky, he's confident, right? Because of his environment, because of his dad. But if you look at it both ways, his bloodline says he's a great player. He's a winner. He's awesome. So I think, man, if whoever's evaluating it, if this is what it came down to, they're definitely trying to humble somebody, right? You're definitely trying to humble somebody. Are coaches concerned about how much Deion Sanders will criticize the coaching staff or the team that drafted Shedeur Sanders if he would have been the first rounder? If Deion had the opportunity to, right? Will teams be wary because they're worried about what Deion Sanders may say if his son isn't playing to the expectations of Coach Prime, right? The coaches most definitely are. Every NFL GM and every coach are worried. If y'all don't know, man, a lot of these coaches that aren't ex-players, they are very sensitive, man. They are sensitive. They get in their feelings. You say one thing about them in the media, they looking crazy. They don't like to be criticized. And they know that comes with the territory with the Sanders family. But that shouldn't matter. If this kid can help you win games, like he showed in college at Jackson State, then Colorado, what the heck is the problem? But these coaches, I'm sure they worried about Coach Prime criticizing and eventually probably coming for their job. If his son is on that team and he was drafted at a first-round pick or a second-round pick, and his expectations aren't being met. Coach Prime has sources, he has influence, he has all those things. So you definitely have to understand these coaches and scouts and GMs and all these people are worried. It's a job just like any job that everybody's competing for. And then, like I say, who is advising Shedeur Sanders? Then I don't think he has an agent. Right? Now think about that. Lamar Jackson didn't have an agent, right? Same type of situation, but they may look at it differently. When you don't have an agent, they have to call someone directly. Who they're going to call? Shedeur Sanders? Who they're going to call? Coach Prime? Think about that. You don't have an agent. He's supposed to be self-representing himself alone with the family. How would teams feel about that, having to call Coach Prime or Coach Sanders? So you got to look at things from both sides. You can't be biased out here in these in this world, and you won't learn like that being biased. We just learning. I'm trying to bring to y'all and let y'all see different sides of football and how things go. And as far as these coaches go, who would want to have to deal with that? Would you want to have to deal with that? Well, obviously, y'all probably look at it different because y'all probably like Coach Prime. Hell yeah, I love to fuck with Coach Prime. That might, blah, blah, blah. But that ain't how it goes in business. You know what I mean? Now, Shedeur Sanders has to show that mental resilience after feeling like he was a first-round pick, the first pick of the draft, or even a first-rounder. Now he has to show that mental resilience. When he goes to a team and not having that first-round title, walking around, you still have to be confident, flashy, cocky, the commanding guy he used to being. But that is going to hit different. He used to being the man everywhere he goes, right? But now he's still going to have to show that he's still confident. He's still flashy. He's still cocky. He's still going to be himself despite him possibly being a 4th-round pick or a 5th-round pick. That's not the end of the world. Like you say, man, God has a plan for everybody. But that hit different, man, when you used to being a guy. Then all of a sudden, you're just another guy. It hit totally different. Y'all heard that? When you used to being the guy, now you're just another guy. It's very humbling, man. It's very humbling. It's very humbling, man. Yeah, these NFL owners, I peep down in the chat, these NFL owners don't want to have to deal with powerful, strong-willed black men with influence and things like that. I think I even seen the tweet of of the president, Donald Trump. Shedeur Sanders, the best player in the draft, hasn't been drafted yet. That's influence. These teams, coaches, general managers, not the owners, everybody else, they are intimidated by this. They're intimidated by a strong-willed black man. You better believe that, man. And this ain't about race and all that stuff, man. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm telling you, I've been through it. You feel me? And then, man, it's like I say, who is advising Shedeur Sanders? Deion Sanders has to understand, just because these are your kids, they aren't the same as you. Yeah, sometimes you can't push things on people, and I'm not saying this is exact situations. You can't push things on people and make them be who you want them to be. Sometimes you got to let people just be. You know what I mean? Because what Shedeur Sanders did after the first round of the draft, it couldn't have did nothing but made things worse, right? What he did after the draft couldn't do nothing but make things worse. He performs his song at his draft party on stage like a rapper and then posts it on social media. I'm gonna let y'all check this out. I mean, I'm all for having fun. I'm all for having fun. You know, I understand he had this all planned out, pre-planned. He was planning to be a first-round draft pick, you know, have fun, you know, go up there and celebrate and things like that and put your song out and brand yourself. Because you learn from the best, branding yourself and your dad, Coach Prime. But when things don't go as planned, you got to know how to pivot. Somebody has to come in and give great advice in this situation. And we got to understand, Coach Prime, he's not used to dealing with these situations like a me, you know what I mean? He's a top 5 draft pick. Everything always has went right when it comes to football and things like that. This is different. This is different, man. This is mentally exerting, man. This is mentally different. Like I say, you used to being a man your whole life. Everywhere you go, you got millions of followers. Your name is being used all over the NFL network because you got the following. You got the name. They're using your name, image, and likeness, right? And you don't get drafted in the first 3 rounds. Man, that is tough to deal with. I'm telling you, man. Like I say, I don't know who is advising him, who he is listening to, but somebody need to step in besides the family or somebody on the outside, man. Because you know you can be biased when you're just talking to yourself. If you're just learning from yourself, that's kind of dangerous. Like I say, I'm all for having fun, you know what I mean? But right now, Shedeur Sanders is getting that Shannon Sharpe advice in this situation. Shedeur Sanders is getting that Shannon Sharpe advice because these NFL teams are evaluating him. Him to come out and play that song, these teams they saw that. He posted on social media, right? It doesn't look good to coaches and executives, man. It doesn't. No matter how you look at it, no matter what excuse you try to say, however you want to slice it and dice it, that doesn't look good if you expecting him to be the quarterback on your team, right? But at the end of the day, this could end up being one of the greatest stories ever, and I hope it end up being one of the great stories. Shedeur Sanders end up getting drafted to the team, end up being a Super Bowl champion despite all this mess going on. I hope it end up being one of those great stories like a Tom Brady story. You know what I mean? But we got to see how it goes, man. We got to see how it goes. It doesn't seem like the NFL are too fond of the Sanders family. This may really be some crazy mess going on. Dylan Gabriel, bro. Dylan Gabriel. Now, I understand Shedeur Sanders, he doesn't get the ball out on time. You know, you need them to play with better rhythm and throw the ball on time, and that can really screw up an offense. But that's an easy fix. You mean to tell me Dylan Gabriel is better than him by man, yeah, I don't know what's going on. Chat, how do y'all feel about that, man? How do y'all feel, chat? Y'all talk to me out there, man. This is crazy, bro. This is absolutely stunning. I am in shock. I'm in awe. Everybody's in awe. Like I said, but we are fans. We looking from the outside looking in. the scouts may feel totally different about this whole Shedeur Sanders situation and what he can do and provide for their team. And can he be a winner? Man. Hope he got his family around him, all his loved ones, and he's strong. He seemed like a strong, confident, willed young man. So everything gonna be all right, man. Everything gonna be all right. Salute to Shedeur Sanders, man, and the Sanders family, man. Hey, but Travis Hunter is now a Jacksonville Jaguar, and I wasn't expecting that. And let me tell you what I think about this draft pick moving up to number 2 and getting Travis Hunter by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let me tell you, Jacksonville Jaguars did a horrible job in the draft today and yesterday. The Jacksonville Jaguars get a freaking D. They get a D grade for drafting Travis Hunter with the second pick in the NFL draft. The Jacksonville Jaguars, I said it, gets a D for drafting Travis Hunter with the second pick in the NFL draft. Now, they got a terrific player, an absolute baller, a stud. Ain't no doubt about that. But was Travis Hunter the best solution to the Jaguar problems, all the problems they have going on? No, I don't think so. Travis Hunter can't go to the Jacksonville Jaguar team as a receiver or defensive back and just change the direction of the team by itself. The best option was Ashton Jeanty. Ashton Jeanty would have been the best solution to fix all of the team problems, all the Jacksonville Jaguar problems. They should have let Cleveland Browns take Travis Hunter and stayed where they at and got Ashton Jeanty. A really good running back that can help the defense become a better unit. How well Ashton Jeanty break tackles and, you know what I mean? Breaking tackles. Keeping possession of the ball, that can help stabilize the game with ball control. You know, a good running back. Why didn't Jacksonville take Ashton Jeanty? You know what I mean? That would have been an awesome pick. Jacksonville Jaguars get a D, man. Travis Hunter is an awesome player, man, but that wasn't the correct play, man. And then, you know, I'm super excited for Travis Hunter. I'm super excited for Travis Hunter to find out this is his favorite team and he get drafted to his favorite team. But the Jacksonville Jaguar rushing defense was ranked 25th. The rushing defense was ranked 25th. Total defense was ranked dead last season at number 32. Jacksonville defense, total defense ranked 32nd. And on offense, they 25th in rushing. Offense, they 25th in rushing yards. So where does Travis Hunter fit in this equation? If the team is dead last in total defense, you can't depend on a cornerback to instantly come in and make the team better when the team is horrible overall, everywhere. You can't expect Travis Hunter to come in and make this team better. Then the Jaguars traded up to the number 2 spot to make sure they got Travis Hunter and traded away the second round pick. It wasn't that serious. What are they doing? Travis Hunter will be a baller no matter what team selected him. We all know that. We all agree to that. He will be a baller no matter where he would have went. It turned out to be Jacksonville Jaguars. And, you know, Jaguars being his favorite team and him expressing that through social media and things like that probably helped persuade the Jacksonville Jaguars to trade for him. But this is the perfect scenario. Jacksonville Jaguars should have let Cleveland stay at number 2, let them take Hunter. With the 5th pick, take Ashton Jeanty. With the Jacksonville Jaguars, with the 5th pick, take Ashton Jeanty. And then in the second round, go grab some solid interior defensive players so you can stop the run. You can stabilize offense. You got, like I say, y'all heard me yesterday if y'all was on here, you got to build your defense and your offense, your team from the inside out. You have to start with the interior. You can have all the flashy, skilled players you want. But if you don't have that interior, that base, man, it's over with. It's over with. Mm-hmm. And then it's crazy because right after they select this Travis Hunter, what happens? You don't hear from the Jacksonville Jaguars to the end of the doggone day. They ain't have a pick in the second round because they traded that away. And then guess what they do with their first pick in the third round? Their first pick after they drafted is Travis Hunter. Go get another defensive back. I understand the pass defense is horrible, but 2 defensive backs, like, come on, man, they tripping. Y'all don't know why I'm riding out on Jacksonville. Maybe because they got Travis Hunter, but man, they had a lot of other things, opportunities to choose from instead of going after the best player in the draft. Obviously, he was the best player in the draft at that time. You know what I mean? But this was a horrible draft strategy, and they definitely are not winning this season. Travis Hunter gonna ball out, but expect this team to have 4 wins and 13 losses just like last season, and expect it to be miserable in the latter part of the season. They'll start off out there, everybody be crunking during the season, 5 or 6 weeks. But when you get to week 14, 15, and 16, everybody start laying down and quitting, and they don't want to be out there no more. You know what I mean? Lauderdale in the building. Shout out to Dolph Will. Chat, man, how y'all feel, man? This is wild. This draft is wild. What are y'all predictions? I swear on everything. I thought Pittsburgh Steelers definitely would have took Shedeur Sanders, Mike Tomlin. I thought, that's why it doesn't matter about your relationship when your job is on the line. When your job is on the line and you work and you have bosses and stuff like that, you're going to make the right selections, man. I'm just in disbelief, man. How many of y'all in disbelief? Throw up the 2-2, man. Y'all in disbelief, man. Hit the 2-2 in the chat, man. Let me know how y'all feel, man. This is crazy, man. This is absolutely insanity. You feel me? Yeah, man. Hey, but y'all know, man, we got to end this thing off with some Shannon Sharpe. We got to end this thing off with some Shannon Sharpe. What is business going on? This man don't stop. And I told y'all I wouldn't be surprised if more and more women start to come out the woodworks. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what's happened to old Granddaddy Shannon Sharpe. Yes, sir. Nope. Y'all like that. Nope. I'm putting a name out. Nope. Oh, Shannon Sharpe, man, he is going through it, bro. This is some wild, crazy stuff. And I think 2 more women have came out since this claim has been exposed and things like that, man. Granddaddy is going through it. At the end of the day, Shannon Sharpe is a complete idiot. He's a fool. He is every terrible word that you want to call a man for making terrible decisions. I mean, he's making the most ignorant, horrible decisions, like something has gotten and taken over his brain. And I ain't going to say what it is. You know what I mean? With Shannon Sharpe, this has to be the highest level of being a narcissist it can possibly be. This has to be the highest level of being a narcissist. Shannon Sharpe, man. This man is parading around, talking hella shit about people like he don't got all type of problems going on behind closed doors. This man parading around, sitting up there on ESPN, his nightcap, the club Shay, like he don't have anything hiding in that closet. That is the highest. That is the highest level of narcissist system I ever seen. This guy here, man. This guy here, I understand you got to do your job. But, man, 2 other women came out to speak on Shannon Sharpe. Horrible behavior. And he knew he was already dealing with the same type of claims from a previous relationship already. From like 10 years ago, he already knew he dealing with some, what is wrong with this fool? What is wrong with him? Not only that, He got into a physical altercation. They don't want to call it an altercation, but he got in a physical altercation at FS1 Studio, where he and Skip, used to go at it and do their debates and stuff, and do their show. But they say that ended up getting settled and a claim was never filed. And here it is. This fool here. And what it says: embattled ESPN personality and former NFL great Shannon Sharpe was accused of choking a female production assistant while he was a co-host on FS1's Undisputed, according to Frontline Sports. The report comes shortly after Sharpe announced that he would be taking a temporary leave from ESPN after a woman filed a $50 million lawsuit against him in Nevada on Sunday, claiming he took advantage of her. Sharpe's stint at Fox Sports went from 2016 to 2023. The date of the alleged incident with a production assistant is unclear. Front Office Sports reports he settled with the female accuser who did not file any lawsuit against Sharpe for several hundreds of dollars. He is throwing that cash left and right. He say, as fast as I make it, as fast as I'm going to trick it off, baby. Yes, sir. Then it said there was no incident of, this is from FS1. There was no incident of choking involving Shannon on FS1 set. Sharpe rep said in a statement. On one occasion, he and a few colleagues were involved in some light physical interaction in a playful context. Fox Sports later chose to resolve the matter privately. Shannon Sharpe. Everybody from kids to the doggone elderly adults is talking about this crazy fool right here. And this is what's funny, man. Let's have some fun with this, right? This is what's going on. Another thing, I tell you, every day things come out, I figure out Shannon Sharpe problem. This fool has multiple issues going on with him, right? And some people age better than others, right? Some people look better than others the older they get. And some people are just plain out ugly at a younger age, right? Some people age better than others, and some people just plain out ugly at a younger age, and they have no choice but to look better, right? And I think this is the case with Shannon Sharpe. When he was a young man, he used to be so goddamn ugly, it was hard for him to attract women in their prime, get some itches. Go get some itches. He couldn't back in the days, man. He had to settle for, you know what I mean? He had to settle down and settle for the leftovers. Now that he is older, he has the ability to present himself better, right? Now that he is older, he has the ability to present himself much better than he had in the past due to his money and all the success he has came into, right? So now he has that confidence to talk to women in their prime. Before, he was probably talking to people his age and people that fit his, you know what I mean? His relationship status. You know what this is called? You think you look better the older you get? You still trying to live that life that you wanted to live when you was a younger man? But now you feel like you're older and you have more money and more resources, you look better and more fame. This is called, my friends, this is called a midlife crisis. Shannon Sharpe is going through so many things, and a midlife crisis is one of them. Now that he got those veneers, he got his teeth shining up there on TV every day, you know what I mean? He think he hot shit. Shannon Sharpe think he hot shit. He got that check. He go buy some hair. He go buy some teeth, buy some ears, you know, all that good stuff. Buy some cheeks, the left and the right. You know, And when he was young and ugly as a mug, life was much harder for a pimp that Shannon Sharpe wanted to be. Now, let me tell you, if I was a counselor, a therapist, a psychiatrist, or anything like that, I would diagnose Shannon Sharpe with so many different ailments and issues going on with him. At the age of 56, I would diagnose this man with so many ailments and issues going on. And y'all know what the first one is. If y'all new in this first time, hey, make sure y'all like, subscribe, and make sure y'all share the live, man. Chat, y'all turn up with, make sure y'all like, subscribe, baby. We blowing this thing up, man. Hey, what is the first ailment Shannon Sharpe got? If y'all been on the first time I went on Shannon Sharpe, y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all been following me. What is the first ailment wrong with Shannon Sharpe, y'all? Talk to me. The first freaking thing that is wrong with Shannon Sharpe, STF, we talked about it on the last live about Shannon Sharpe. STF, I'm diagnosing him with STF, sexually transmitted feelings. That's the first thing. Then the second thing, he got that goddamn demon in him, boy. If y'all don't know what that demon is, that demon, you can't let it go. You are always on the chase, baby. You got to get that, you know what I mean? You got to get that release. You got to get that release. That's the second thing. He got that goddamn demon in him. These are all the things I would diagnose him with, right? Then finally, then he's having a midlife crisis, like I said previously or earlier, you know, in this segment. He's in a midlife crisis right now. This is exactly what this is showing us, y'all. Going through a midlife crisis. Old man think he look better than he used to look, and he get better women than he used to could get, and he's going for it. And last but not least, he's a well-groomed narcissist. Yes, goodness, that man is a narcissist. He is arrogant. You can't tell him nothing. I seen a text message where he said he don't mess with nobody at ESPN. From Shady, he even had Coach Prime in there. Did y'all see that text message? I showed you the screenshot and showed y'all, man. This man had a text message where he was talking about every co-host he ever had. I mean, he had Brandon Marshall in the text message, Coach Prime. He had, I think, Ryan Clark. I mean, he had everybody. He named literally everybody, bro. I don't know. It's really the signs of someone that is getting old, stubborn, and think they hot shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. I did not know this man had to step down. That's crazy. One day soon, I'm telling you, Shannon Sharpe, he will take a moment to reflect on everything, and he will look in that mirror and tell himself that he is the biggest fool on earth. He is the biggest fool on earth. That empire he done built for so many years, working his way. Like you said, he used to have a speech impediment. He used to stutter and things like that. He worked on it for so many years just to put it all on the line to go trick it, man. Homeboy, man, that's terrible, man. Shannon Sharpe is the donkey of the day by way of Charlemagne the God. Donkey of the day go to Shannon Sharpe. Charlemagne better put him on there one day. But what y'all think about the draft, man? It wasn't the most exciting draft. Like I said, I don't think it was a lot of all-pro talent, all-pro prospects available. You know, it was just a draft that these teams had to get through, man. Like I said on yesterday, if a lot of these teams could opt out of this draft, they wouldn't have participated. Or at least the first and second round, they definitely would have opted out of the draft. Because, like you seen, man, they were just picking bodies for the interior, you know? You got 5 offensive linemen, 5 defensive linemen. So there's no skilled players that we see that is our first-round prospects and have first-round talent. So we're going to build this team and, you know, add more depth to the interior, you know? Let me get to the chat, man. Let's do a little Q&A, man. How y'all feeling out there? A little Q&A. What y'all got out there, man? How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling? Let me get to a couple questions, man. Chat. How y'all feeling, man? How y'all feeling? AJ, Asante Samuel Jr., y'all keep seeing his name coming across the board, man. Hey, man, you know, one day, man, he gonna speak more and talk more and let y'all know in some inside scoops and things like that. But, you know, going through a little something. Hopefully one day, sooner rather than later, he'll hurry up and sign with someone. So, you know, that's what we counting on. That's what we waiting on, man. But, yeah, man. Mystic, man, what they do? Shout out to the chat, man. Tampa in the building. Let me know where y'all represent, where y'all coming from. Make sure y'all like. How many likes we got in here, man? We don't got half as many likes as people in the live, y'all. Make sure y'all like. Yes, sir, man. Good vibes tonight, man. It was a good vibe tonight, man. Where's Shedeur Sanders going to land, man? This is crazy. It's unbelievable. I mean, everybody in the world is talking about it the same way they was talking about the Deion Sanders and the Asante Samuel comparison. I mean, as soon as the draft was over, I mean, everybody is picking it up, the radio stations, every media outlet. It is wild, man. And at the end of the day, does this have something to do with his persona, his cocky confidence, I guess? The Sanders family, you know what I mean? The effects that they may have on the team that he is drafted to. Some things to think about. But hopefully, man, the first couple picks in the 4th round, this is over with. This is a non-issue no more. We can talk about the team. He can move forward and, you know, do his thing. So say what needs to be said, chat. You know, we had a good time vibing tonight. And I always appreciate y'all, man. I love my audience. I love y'all boys. I love my supporters. You know what I mean? We're going to keep doing things. We're going to keep getting better and better. Grinding, baby. Doing our thing. Mr. Pick 6, 50 interceptions, Hall of Famer. If they don't put me in the Hall of Fame, y'all know we're going to have to come together and figure something out. You know what I mean? Salute y'all, man. See y'all next time.